Welcome back once again to another episode of Faith with Pearl. My name is Pearl, and this is the voice that you'll be listening to every Tuesday at 12 p.m. here on Lobatse Online Radio. Faith with Pearl is a show where we bring hope to the hopeless, shine light where there's darkness, and enlighten the youth on issues that they deal with on a daily basis. Just to make a quick recap on last week's episode, we spoke about the mind. We defined the mind as the part of a human that we use to reason. We even went further to talk about the mind, that tlhaloganya ke selo se e leng gore mongwe le mongwe wa rona o na le sone, but bontsi ba rona ga re itse gore re ka e berekise jang ka tsela e leng gore e ka re sologela molemo. We went even further again. We dived deep into this topic and spoke about the mind, that the mind has power to create. That is the power of the mind. It has power to create. It can either create what is good for us, or it can either create what is to destroy us. So if we're not careful with our minds, and the reason why many of us as the youth is because of the corrupted mind. And this corrupted mind is the reason why we are where we are today. If you missed this episode, please make sure you listen to it and get an understanding on how to use your mind effectively and how to avoid the corruption of your mind. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. It's time for us to dive into today's topic. As I have promised you last week, today we're going to be dealing with the renewal of the mind. Today I'm going to answer two questions. How does a person lose their mind? That is, how does a person end up with a corrupted mind? And how do we regain our minds? That is, how do we get back our pure minds? Mental. No, we're going to dive deep into this topic, and I'm going to explain what I mean. A person can lose their mind. You might be asking yourself lots and lots of questions. When I say a person has lost their mind. But we're going to answer that question. We're going to answer these two questions. How does a person lose their mind? And how do we regain our minds? Let us go for a short break. After that, we're going to go straight into the topic. We're going to answer all these questions.
Faith with Pearl, Tuesdays at 12.
As I promised before we went for that short break, I'm going to answer two questions. How does a person lose his or her mind? And how does a person regain his or her mind? Let me try to explain to you what do I really mean when I say a person has lost his or her mind. To lose your mind means to lose your direction. The moment you've lost the direction of your life, you've lost your mind. That's what it means to lose your mind. That's what it means to lose your mind. To lose your mind means to lose the direction of your life. In last week's episode, we said that the mind creates the world you will live in. Everything concerning you as an individual originates from the mind. These are the products of the mind. Different people in different professions, they are where they are as a result of their minds. So that means the moment we lose our minds, we've lost the direction of our lives. You've lost everything concerning you that you were supposed to create from that mind that God gave you. The moment you've lost your mind, you've lost the direction of your life. You've lost the original life that God wanted you to have. And as a result, this is the time where many of us end up with a corrupted mind that only serves to destroy us. So losing your mind, again, is losing the direction of your life. Go tshwana le ga o le moša mo lehelong a be GPS eno o e dirisa go gore go yang teng e tima o ise o goroge. or your phone going off only in a new place, location, how would you feel when that happens? You'd definitely be lost. So that's the same thing that happens when we lose our minds. We lose our direction. And because we've lost the direction of our lives, we can't continue to say that we know where we're going. We can't continue to say, we still have the direction. This is the time many of us end up getting a corrupted mind. That corrupted mind ya go utswa, that corrupted mind ya go itaola, that corrupted mind ya go dira all sorts of things that today we're complaining about. So many of us have lost our direction here. Most of the youth have lost their direction here. Yeah, and the question that you may be asking yourself, how then, Pearl, do we really lose our minds? Or how then do we really lose the direction of our lives? So to answer that question, that first question, how does a person lose his or her mind? We lose our minds the moment we begin to label our guardians as our enemies when they correct us. We lose our minds the moment we begin to put people who are there to help us in a category these are our enemies. Now bear with me. I'm going to explain what I mean. Bear with me. I'm going to explain what I mean. Nako e re neng re kgalemelwa boitaola jwa rona ke nako e bontsi ba rona re neng ra tswa mo tseleng. Guardians, when I say guardians, I mean your parents, I mean your teachers, I mean your elders, I mean your pastors. Many of us have lost the direction of our lives when we rejected correction and started to put our guardians in the category of our enemies. That is when many of us lost the direction of our lives. We can make it without them. And some ended up killing themselves. Some ended up taking their lives. That is the time in which many of us lost our direction. Nako e re neng re gana go khalemelwa, nako e re neng re gana kgakolwa batsadi ba rona, ke nako e bontsi ba rona re ile ra latlhegelwa ke tsela. Nnete ke gore ever since then, many of us re heletse le gore re iphitlhela mo diemong tse e leng gore di worse le go heta se neng re se khalemelelwa. That is to say, some of us started some actually started to take their own lives. Banga bana ba simolola go itaola le go hate, as I've already mentioned. Banga be le gore we end up le gore ba thoka botho. That is why o khona go uta gote kana mme ngwana se mang ine le ngwana o reetsang e le ngwana o maitseo me gompieno ga ra tlhaloganye gore o iragalwa keng. You see, that is why today so now let us go for a short break. When we come back again, we're going to dive deep into this topic. We're going to answer this question. I'm going to try to explain everything and what I mean. We have lost the direction of our lives. Online radio. We're still continuing with that topic, still answering the first question, how does a person lose his or her mind? So before we went for the break, we answered this question, the moment we reject correction, that is the moment where many of us lose the direction of our lives. That is the moment where many of us lose the good mind that we're meant to have. That is the moment when many of us lose the good mind that God has given us. He expected us to use it to create the good life that we desire to see. Are we saying that we're still going to continue rejecting correction? Are we saying that we're still going to reject correction? The reason why the drug addicts, teenage pregnancy, the school dropouts, the youth, is because we've lost our direction. The reason why the youth is because we've lost our direction. And the reason why we as the youth are running up and down seeking for pleasure from drugs, from alcohol, from anything and everything that could make us forget our reality is because we know we've lost our direction. This is the very same reason why many of us don't have peace. This is the very same reason why some of us are even taking our own lives. Nako e re neng re gana kgakololo ke nako e leng gore bontsi ba rona re ne ra latlhegelwa ke tsela. That is the time we lost the direction of our lives. Some of us lost the direction of our lives when we failed to forgive. That is to say, we can lose the direction of our lives in two ways. First of all, by labeling the people that were correcting us as our enemies, and two, by failing to forgive those who've offended us. So many of us have failed to forgive our fathers who have walked away from our lives. So many of us have failed to give our parents who made us to grow up in abusive homes. Many of us have failed to forgive the friends who broke our trust. Many of us have failed to forgive the family members they abused us. We've failed to forgive, and by failing to forgive, we lost the direction of our lives. By failing to forgive our fathers who walked away from our lives, we lost our direction. By failing to forgive our parents who fought in front of us, we lost our direction. By failing to forgive our friends who broke our trust, we lost our direction. By failing to forgive the relatives who abused us when we were babies, we lost our direction. Failing to forgive those who've offended you is failing to secure the direction of your life. Because as a result of unforgiveness, it will be done out of bitterness. If at all we're still holding unforgiveness, if at all we're still accommodating unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is the reason why people are killing each other today. It's the reason why Facebook it's the reason why it's the reason why people are hurting each other today. So we see this is how we've lost our direction as the youth. This is how we've been losing the direction of our lives. This is how we've been throwing away our lives, by failing to forgive those who've offended us, and also by rejecting correction and labeling the people who are trying to correct us as our enemies. So we're going to go again for a short break. After that, we're going to put this topic all together, wrap it up, then answer the last question.
In a land far, far away comes the best radio station in the world. This time around we go high. You're now tuned in to Lobatse Online Radio.
Before we went for that break, we answered the first question. How does a person really lose his or her mind? And what does it mean to lose your mind? To lose your mind, once again, simply means to lose the direction of your life. Now we're going to answer the second question. How then do we regain our minds? How then do we get our direction back? The first thing that we're supposed to do is to forgive ourselves. Forgive yourself first. Mistakes happen, but it's time for you now to forgive yourself. But it's time for you to forgive yourself. Discover who you are. Your mistakes do not define you. They define us, but that is not true. The mistakes that we made do not define us. Only God does. Forgive yourself first, and then discover who you really are. That is when you can then seek ways on how to get back on track. Do not allow shame. Do not allow guilt. Do not allow regret to hold you back from experiencing freedom. These three things can trap you. And then you don't forgive yourself. Don't allow shame. Don't allow guilt and regret to trap you. Don't allow shame, guilt, and regret to hold you from experiencing freedom. It's time for you to forgive yourself. To forgive yourself means to cancel yourself and to deliver yourself from all that shame, from all that guilt of the mistakes you made. To forgive yourself means to teach yourself once again what is right. Okay, fine, but now let me do what is right. That is what it means to forgive yourself. To forgive yourself, you cancel yourself. Then you free yourself from the guilt, free yourself from the shame. Then start to do what is right. Forgiveness releases you to hope again. We've lost our hope. Some of us but because of the mistakes that we made, we've lost our dreams. First, forgive yourself. Forgiveness releases you to hope again. Forgiveness releases you to dream again. It restores your mind. It restores your direction. I get it now while answering this question. How do we regain our minds? The first thing that you need to do is to forgive yourself. Oftentimes, we love ourselves. We're always talking about self-love. But we need to understand to love yourself means to love yourself enough to release yourself from unforgiveness. It means to love yourself enough to forgive yourself. The next thing to do is to forgive others. Let us forgive our fathers. Let us forgive our mothers. Let us forgive our friends. Let us forgive our relatives. Let us forgive all those who have offended us. But the bitterness that we carry with us will only destroy us. Forgive even those that they abused you. Forgive even those who assaulted you. Forgiveness is a daily thing. Each time you remember what that person did to you, forgive. Each time, forgive. Each time you remember, forgive. Our freedom lies in forgiveness. It's not too late for anyone. It's not too late for you. Forgive them and love them. Forgive them, love them, and bless them. How do you bless them? How do you bless they've offended you? How do you bless the people who have hurt you? By praying for them and asking God to forgive them too. By praying for them and asking God to release them. By doing that, how do favor? Instead, you are only making yourself fit for your journey. By doing that, how do favor? Instead, what you are doing, you are regaining your mind. And this mind is the one that will make you fit for your journey. You are releasing yourself. You are gaining back your direction. And most importantly, you are mending the broken relationship between you and God. If you forgive those who have offended you, including yourself, if you forgive including you, you'll be forgiven by God the sins that you've committed against you. This is what it means to forgive. Forgive others so that you also may be forgiven. If a person can offend you, it means that you can offend somebody else. For us to move forward as a generation, for us to move forward as the youth, for us to move forward as a generation, we need to be a forgiving generation. For us to regain our direction, for us to regain our minds, we need to be a forgiving generation. In conclusion, forgiving yourself and forgiving them is releasing what belongs to you. What belongs to you is the direction of your life. What belongs to you is the blessings of your life. What belongs to you is your mind. Let us accept let us accept we've been out of line. Then let us then begin to forgive ourselves first, because charity begins at home. Let us begin to forgive ourselves first, and then forgive those who've hurt us. There are so many people by Longore, they've hurt us. But now it's the time for us to sit down and say, okay, I forgive this person. And then pray to God and ask God to release this person. This is how you be blessing that person. Then after forgiving yourself and forgiving others, it's time for you now to move on and do what is right. Remember, Kana, when you carry a corrupted mind, the only thing that you can do is worse. The only thing that you can do with the corrupted mind is to destroy your life. But forgiveness, forgiving yourself and forgiving all those who've offended you, releases you. It releases your direction. You begin to regain the mind that God wants you to have, the mind that is able to create the good things around you. And remember that in all situations that you may be going through, our God is the great I am who has overcome the world, and He is with us. There is nothing too big for Him. Again, my name is Pearl, and the name of this program is Faith with Pearl. Let's meet again next week, Tuesday, at the same time and at the same place.
Faith with Pearl, Tuesdays at 12.
Find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Lobatse Online Radio, Twitter @Lobatse Online Radio, YouTube @Lobatse Online Radio, or email us on lobatseonlineradio@gmail.com.